Okay, we are back. I know there's not a lot of people that were waiting on it, but we do have 33 subscribers on YouTube that were clamoring for some abnormally average content, and we're going to give them some more of that, aren't we, Ty?
Oh, yeah, we are, baby.
Yeah, we looks a little differently. We're testing out a remote setup, see if this is how we do things moving forward. I kind of like it. I kind of dig sitting in my living room. I feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, I need to get the mic set up for today with the AirPods, so we'll see how that sounds. But it's a lot easier. There's no driving involved. Which in Austin, the traffic can be an issue at times.
And this was kind of a last-second deal that I just kind of sprung on you. It was like, hey, man, why don't we just record it from our living room this week, and we'll see what happens.
By the way, Jamie said in Jamie fashion says you're not invited back.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh, so we don't use the studio one time and I'm not invited back. Okay. Yeah. So it was a business relationship. It wasn't a friendship.
I guess.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah, he said that you don't know him as well, but I'm sure we can come back if we need to, because Clifford Studios is awesome. We still love them. Morty Unleashed dropped their first few episodes. They're doing
I saw that.
Better than us.
Yeah.
They're doing better than us.
Yeah.
With no social media. But they have some good guests, so we're definitely going to have to work on that in the future, get some interesting people to talk to.
Well, that was part of the reason for wanting to do it like this, too, right? Is for future guests, a little bit easier to send somebody.
Not everybody can be in East Austin on 3 p.m. on weekdays.
Right, yeah, a little bit easier to send somebody a link. We can be a little bit more flexible with our time. But we got a decent show today, I think. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening in the sports world right now. We got NBA Finals, electric. NHL Finals. I'm all the way in on NHL Finals thanks to you.
You're in now?
That game last night was amazing. Absolutely loved watching that.
I was a Vegas bettor, so not so much for me. Did you have Florida?
I didn't bet the game. I just watched it.
Oh, you just watched?
That's the sign of becoming a true fan, right? You watched it without any action on it.
There you go.
Yeah, so we got that. We got a couple other things. The golf world was turned upside down on its head earlier this week. A lot of guys lost a lot of money potentially sitting on the table.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook, sure. He's going to get a chance to sign with any other team today after 3 o'clock Central Time. And then we'll dive in a little bit into the recent gambling investigations in the NFL. But let's go ahead and start at the top with the NBA Finals. Game 3. I mean, it looked like we were going to have a competitive back-and-forth series after Game 2. I went into the series thinking that Miami was just going to get steamrolled. Game 3, there's a little bit...
We didn't even get to give a prediction on this one, did we?
I don't think we did. I think it's been too long since we last recorded.
I'm sure we both would have picked Denver. I'm sure we both would have picked Denver, right?
I know in conversations that I had with people before the series, I was so... I guess because they had just beaten the Lakers and I watched it closely... I was convinced it was going to be Denver in 4 in this series.
Oh, I'm sure you were.
Yeah, they just looked like a complete...
After watching the Lakers.
Right. And then after watching Game 1, I mean, Denver looked like a complete wagon over the Miami Heat. Miami gives them something to fight for in Game 2. Then Game 3 comes, right? I'm expecting fireworks to fly. And Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic suffocated that arena. They never took their foot off the gas all night. Both of them with 30-point triple-doubles. First time in NBA history. What do you think about the series moving forward after that game? Because to me, it looked like Denver kind of realized they were sleepwalking in Game 2, and then the real Denver showed up in Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be a gentleman's sweep from the start. Miami, they got some dog in them. We know that. They've taken care of the top teams in the East throughout the playoffs. It's hard to count them out, but at this point, Denver just has too many weapons. Jokic is the best player in the world. We've talked about that in previous episodes, how he's just on top of the NBA world right now. Jamal Murray, when he's hitting and Jokic is hitting, because the Joker's going to get his no matter what. If Jamal Murray is on fire as well, there's no way you can beat them. Miami's only chance is to shoot, I'd say, like 65 to 70% from 3, which was around where they were at in Game 2 when they did win. And they're just not built to do that. Jimmy Butler's had a tremendous run, but I think it ends here in 5.
Okay, in 5 games. That's not bad. I could see that happening, especially after, like I said, that Game 3 performance was so dominant. The scoreboard wasn't there wasn't a huge gap in the two teams score-wise.
It felt like it was like a 10-point game.
Yeah, but if you watched it, I mean, it felt like they were never going to catch back up to them.
Yeah, definitely.
And who is that white guy that Denver is bringing in off the bench?
Christian Brown.
Christian Brown, dude, absolute lightning rod. Every time he came in the game, he was trying to dunk on somebody.
He won a national championship with Kansas last year, so he'd be going back to back, college natty and NBA.
Has that happened
as a rookie? Magic Johnson.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe.
So
you're a Lakers fan. You tell me.
Well,
that's how it went in the Lakers documentary, the one with John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that?
No, I didn't. I saw
Showtime.
Episodes of it. It looks hilarious.
You haven't watched it?
I haven't.
Oh,
No.
If you love the Lakers, you have to watch that.
Okay. I'll put that on the list.
But I think that's just kind of the way it happens in the show, which I think it's supposed to be pretty historically accurate.
I don't know. I heard some people had some issues with the way they were portrayed.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Like who? The buses? Or
the buses and Kareem. Kareem had an issue with the way he was portrayed in it.
Kareem has an issue with everything.
Kareem does like to complain about things these days. But yeah, back to the series, the current NBA. I mean, both teams. So again, Lakers fan, and really only after the All-Star break once NFL starts winding down.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Just cut that. Just keep talking.
I'm not cutting that. That's all going in there.
Dude. That's one of the issues with remote with me is there's probably a bird in my backyard and my dogs are acting like someone's trying to break into my house right now.
It's fair enough. Makes the show relatable. Yeah. But watching this series, both teams are kind of gravitating to this zone defense, and I don't know if it's to keep the guys fresh because Miami is more so built to play with 8 or 9 guys. Denver is very much built to play with 5 guys. 5 guys that they're going to run the absolute dog shit out of for the entire game. So I don't know if the zone on defense is a strategic thing or if it's a pace.
They've been doing that all year, though.
Okay. So it is a strategic kind of concept.
They've run more zone this year than anybody by like a wide margin.
Wonderful, because
throughout the regular season,
with both of these teams playing that zone kind of defense, it is creating some massive collisions at the rim because neither team is built to just shoot the lights out. So they have to get in the paint and score at some point. But there is always one guy going up against 2 defenders, or there's a no-look pass that jukes out 2 defenders. One of my favorite parts to watch about this final series.
Yeah, and you saw that zone work against Jason Tatum and the Celtics in the previous series.
Oh yeah,
it really they put all their eggs in defending Jason Tatum, and we're like, all right, the rest of y'all just hit your shots.
Right,
if you hit your shots, you'll beat us. And that's kind of what happened in Game 2 with they let Jokic have his, and we're like, all right, we're just gonna stop Jamal Murray. And like I said earlier, your only chance of winning is stopping Jamal Murray and hope that you can hit more threes than they're Michael Porter Jr., Bruce Brown, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Because I disagree with you. I do think Denver is way deeper than Miami. Like, Miami might have more guys in the rotation right now, but quality of the bench for Denver, I think, is like with Christian Brown, who you mentioned, the guys I just mentioned. They have Uncle Jeff Green on their coming up like their 10th man off the bench right now. Miami has guys that think they're all-stars. Like Gabe Vincent thinks he should be an all-NBA, be on the all-NBA team. The confidence is there. I think that sets Miami's bench apart a little bit, just in the confidence game, because those guys go out there and they know they have to contribute at a high level for Miami to win. The Denver bench, there's not as much pressure. Like Christian Brown plays 10 to 15 minutes a game. He just knows he has to go in there and be explosive and hit a few shots and just do his minimal job. Miami, not so much. One of those guys has to break out pretty much every game.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a difference of what they're asked to do as a bench. Maybe a deeper bench was the wrong term to use. But since we didn't get to do it beforehand, I know it's kind of a lackluster one, but given what we know now, what's your prediction for the end of the series?
Gentleman's sweep.
Gentleman's sweep?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm leaning that way myself.
Well, you were a sweep before him.
And
right?
I know, and then Miami convinced me the other way in game 2. Game 3 set me right back to, okay, I don't think Miami could win another game if Denver plays like that. Game 4 is going.
But every time we think that about Miami,
right,
they tend to prove everybody wrong. You know, we came into game 3. Everybody, at least on the radio, on the shows I've talked on, we were all like, oh, well, it was basically Miami's funeral that next morning. They don't have a chance. There's no way they can win game 3. I think they were, or they won game 2. Sorry, after they lost game 1. Sorry, I'm mistaken here. I'm thinking of the last series with the Celtics. After they lost game 1, it was like, oh, they're fucked, pretty much.
Yeah.
And they fought back, and they won a game at Denver. So, I mean, who are we to say that they can't win game 4 at home? I think that right now they're what's that line sitting at, like 2.5, 3 points?
Oh, I haven't looked at it. I haven't looked at it today. I don't know what that line is right now.
I already hit my limit. I hit my limit for the week. I'm out. So.
Oh.
Maybe no gambling advice this show. My gambling, actually, just a quick.
Well, just so that we know, what was the limit and when did you hit it?
Yeah. My limit, yeah. So here's my weekly gambling advice from Uncle Ty. Just set a limit for yourself weekly. Like my limit used to be $2,500 a week.
Okay.
To like my credit on there, so I could lose $2,500 in a week if I played it all, which happened a few times. But I got off that book and I switched to, don't put any of this in a short or anything, but if you're listening, if you're one of our 10 listeners, you can know this information. If
you made it to this very specific part of the episode.
Let's just say this person doesn't trust me as much, so my limit's at $500. So I lost $500.
Okay.
But my tip to everybody is just set a limit around there. $500 is a lot of money to lose in 1 week, but it's a lot less than $2,500. And you can still win a lot of money. Like, because really to win the amount of money I'm looking for, I have to bet like $50 to $100. I bet $50 now.
Right. That's what I was going to explain next, is you do this on a daily basis as a form of generating revenue. It's not just, I got a feeling about this
Friday
guy.
Today.
Yeah.
It's Friday today. I didn't bet anything today. Monday through Thursday, I lost $500. But I won. Hey, I was up $1,600 last week. So take it for what
comes and goes.
I bet
right?
with a little bit more. I bet with too much confidence early in the week. I think I put down like a $200 parlay, 3-leg parlay, like Monday.
Hey,
didn't hit.
Shoot or shoot. You keep shooting, Ty.
Scared money don't make
exactly.
Money.
Scared money don't make money. All right. Well, I think
But yeah, what were we talking about?
Well, we hammered home the NBA Finals. We can move on into the Stanley Cup.
I'm kind of
Finals.
before we move on, if I'm being honest, I've lost a lot of my interest in watching these games at this point.
Really? Why?
I feel like that happens sometimes. I don't know. It's not a very interesting NBA Finals to me. I think we all, unless something crazy happens, if Miami wins Game 4 and flips this series on its head, then yeah, I'll start tuning in. But Game 3, I probably watched half the game.
Dude, you're the person the NBA was worried about when this Finals was set. Because if it's the Lakers, you're watching the Lakers get swept because it's the Lakers.
And I love the NBA, but the Mavs weren't in the playoffs this year.
Hard for you to get into it. When that happens,
it makes me, it's like, but beyond the gambling and having to pay attention for work, there's not much. Like if I didn't have to do those, if I didn't have to gamble and have a job in sports media, I probably wouldn't be watching it at all. I'd rather watch the NHL playoffs.
Oh, I absolutely love this NBA Finals. It's my style of basketball. Slow it down, beat people up, hard points in the paint, mid-range twos, that kind of stuff.
Is basketball your favorite sport?
No, it is not. Football is my favorite sport. Basketball is what I got to play the most of growing up. Not for the school, at parks.
I made one team. So
there you go.
I didn't make the team in middle school, but I made it freshman year of high school. It was a underdog story for the ages.
Look at that. I wasn't on the team in high school. I played at parks.
It was old school back then. So like we were freshmen. Westlake has a freshman center. By the way, I'm going to the Westlake State Championship, the Texas High School Baseball State Championships.
Oh yeah, that's at the Dell Diamond.
Round Rock at the Dell Diamond tonight. Yeah, me and Derek Cohen from the Horn are going to go watch some of my old coaches, and get a drink or two before. So I'm sure.
Sure,
he's
gonna go. He's gonna go get a couple Gatorades before he heads out there to hang out around the high schoolers. Got to stay hydrated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
You were asking about basketball being my favorite sport, or
so when I made the team freshman year, it was old school. Like we got out, like they posted physically on the wall, like the roster, like so we all like ran, like after the last bell rang, like ran to like the freshman center, like just like the commons area, and it was just posted up there. We all gathered around, and I saw my name at the bottom. And I was like tackled another one of my friends that didn't think he was going to make it. And then there was like 3 kids that thought for sure that so we had an A team, B team. They thought like, oh, I'm definitely going to make the team, but I'm probably going to be on A team that just didn't make it. Ooh. That were motherfucking me and like crying. Ooh. And like, cause I was like, yes, like I just won the lottery. It was a good time, but I don't think
that kid's having the worst day of his life, and you are just fucking going nuts.
I'm literally like, I'm like.
He's been telling all of his friends for months, all through football season. Wait till basketball season rolls around. That's my time. That's when I shine.
And then the kid that didn't make it in middle school locks down on the spot. I thought that was funny. Just because kids these days probably like, I don't think they would post the teams like that anymore. I don't know. I could be.
No way, dude. So my mom works out there at Hutto. They give them all a Chromebook. They'll just send it to them digitally.
Oh, don't worry. We had iPads.
Oh, okay. So I guess
don't get it twisted. It still is less.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, we were a little too broke for iPads when I was in high school.
They were first gen. It was okay. Funny. I mentioned the iPads. Now they have them like restricted to where they can only use like 3 different apps.
Smart.
But back in my day when it first started, it was free reign.
Just give you an iPad.
That was basically a porn device for 90% of the students.
Let's give a bunch of 18-year-old males
then, like the first year in
a browsing history that they're not accountable for.
Freshmen through seniors, like everybody got them, and then like a year in, they're like, by the way, like we have access to like everyone's search history. It doesn't matter if you clear it. So we know. Nobody got in trouble. It didn't stop me.
Oh man!
What was I gonna get called in the office? Be like, hey man, you're on Pornhub.
Hey dude, you are watching way too much 4K porn. We need you to at least dial back the resolution, man. You're killing the iPad.
Yeah. So that's just that's the Westlake high school hero story of this episode of Abnormally Average.
You're gonna go to the baseball game and tell all the freshmen about the good old days when y'all got handed iPads to look up porn.
I already went to a 7-on-7 qualifying tournament with Westlake playing in it at a middle school in Westlake today.
There you go. Oh, you already did that today.
Me and Derek were just hanging out with the coaches, shooting shit. Yeah, I told them because they have like off-season training, like I think it's 2nd grade through seniors for like boys and girls, just like so everyone does the same thing your entire life. Kind of like, I don't know. It's good. It's a great plan. But I think I'm going to start after the show going and training the 10 to 12 session kids. So I might be Coach Ty.
Really?
Here soon. Yeah.
Ooh.
We might have to get you out there and get some video of that or something.
Interesting. Coach Ty. I don't see you getting like assertive with anybody.
It's like $35 an hour.
35 an hour? Well, yeah, but you're only doing it for what, 10 hours in a week?
2 hours a day. I mean, that's $70 a day.
Yeah. It's not bad. And you get to go yell at some high schoolers.
Yeah. I mean, that extra cash would cover my weekly gambling expenses. Let's just say that.
There you go. That's a much more wholesome side hustle. Doing your service for the community.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Stanley Cup Finals.
NHL.
Yeah. So you're going to have to carry the brunt of this one because you got me into hockey, and it was only a couple weeks ago. But that game last night was absolutely insane. I watched it from start to finish. The Panthers, Tkachuk, is that his name? Their main guy?
Matthew
Tkachuk.
Yeah,
it is awesome, and they love him in that building. He assisted on the first goal.
How Yeah, how do you like when they throw the rats on when they score in
Yeah.
Florida?
Oh yeah.
It's like unleash the rats.
Oh, dude, you could feel it.
Because that's their play style. No, like that franchise is kind of taking the culture of like, we're just gonna poke you, we're gonna try to piss you. I've told you before, like they want to get in fights and like irritate the other team.
It was very evident.
Did you sense that?
Oh yeah, that team is not fucking around. And Vegas, on the opposite side of it, is so patient with all of the antics, right? They don't don't get suckered into it.
Yeah, definitely. And they knew that coming in too. But they're hockey boys, so they're still gonna. I love when they're all tied up and they just like punch each other in the face real quick, and the refs are saying, "Hey, just break it up."
Well, I saw a couple where it's like
not a big
fights
deal.
happening here. Guy skates in from the side to like help, whatever team. Guy from opposite team punches dude skating in to fight.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of like most of the fights that happen aren't even the two people that initially like they stop play. Like the two people that are involved in the hit or whatever that initially stop play usually aren't the two that are in the fight. It's the enforcers will come in and just beat the shit out of
It's a fantastic game. I don't know why.
They're called there's a movie.
Goon.
I'll think of it in a second. Goon, yeah, the Goon on the team.
Yeah, that's the one with Stifler playing hockey.
2-1. Yeah. 2-1. Vegas, like I said earlier, their back line is huge. All the way, all four of their lines. They're very patient and consistent on defense, like you were saying. Jack Eichel, he was the second pick in the draft. Do you know who Connor McDavid is?
I've heard that. Connor McDavid, isn't that how you said it?
Yeah, Connor McDavid, who's like, the greatest prospect since I forgot
He's
the
Michael
guy
Jordan for
coming
hockey
in this
is what
year.
they've been saying.
Yeah. So him and then the guy that's coming in this year, but Connor McDavid's been in the league for about 5 years, and Jack Eichel was the number 2 pick in that draft to Vegas, and he was, he's very, very good as well. You probably noticed that watching these Vegas games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wish I knew more. I've said before, if all the rosters weren't so full of foreign players, like specifically Eastern European names, I would follow hockey a lot more just because I can't put a name to a face or a number or anything because they're all just crazy ass names. There's nothing we can do about that because those are all the main countries that play this sport, but it's tough for me. Beyond the stars and the Connor McDavids and the Jack Eichels, it's hard for me to keep.
Yeah, definitely not something I could see myself following year round. But this time of year, when you're looking for something to watch,
playoff
hockey,
awesome.
You've sold me. I'm in every year on playoff hockey.
That's I got into it. I mean, when I was younger, I loved hockey and I watched the Stars all the time. But I got back into playoff hockey probably like 5 years ago. And I've just been fortunate enough the Stars have been to a Stanley Cup and made some big time runs in those 5 years. So definitely we'll have to next year throughout the regular season, we'll have to try to familiarize ourselves with the rosters a little bit more so we can be more ready.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen.
Stanley Cup playoffs.
I don't know if that's going to happen.
I am. I've taken it upon myself. I think I'm going to play the NHL video game because that would be that's how I used to learn Madden rosters.
Okay, yeah,
sure. It's learn the rules and everything a little bit better. I know the rules, but
Oh, I have no idea. Don't know if I'll follow it all year, but that game last night was electrifying, and I absolutely love the fact that these guys are killing each other on the ice for my entertainment. But we'll move on from that. Panthers up 2-1. Or not Panthers, the Knights up 2-1. Do you have a prediction you want to throw out there?
This is 7. I think this will get 7.
I'm gonna say Panthers in 6.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, with all of my...
they're winning 3 straight?
Oh, yeah. With
they're
all
going
of
to
my...
win 4 straight?
Yes. 100%.
Okay, yeah, that's an elite analysis right there.
You're right. That's my extensive hockey background coming into play. That's dude. I grew up in Central Texas. We were playing hockey every day.
Hell yeah!
All right, let's move on though. PGA and LIV merger. What day was that? Was that Tuesday, Wednesday when this broke?
Wednesday, I think is when the news officially came out.
Either way, a bunch of PGA players found out the same way you and I did, which is through a Twitter post that the PGA would be forming a merger with LIV, more specifically the, was it PIF? Is that the name of the fund, the Public Investment Fund?
Yeah, it's like 600 to 800 billion in it.
Yeah, so
That's what it's supposed to be.
I don't know all the details about how the tour is going to look and all that moving forward. My first thought though was what happens to those guys that turn down life-changing contracts to stay with the PGA.
They're going to get some compensation. I actually pulled up some Rory McIlroy from his interviews with Shorts if we want to listen to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
What that looks like for individual players in terms of keeping a tour card and, bringing players back into the fold, and then that, sacrifices other people. That's where the anger comes from, right? And I understand that, and there still has to be consequences to actions. The people that left the PGA Tour irreparably harmed this tour, started litigation against it. We can't just welcome them back in. That's not going to happen. And I think that was the one thing that Jay was trying to get across yesterday is guys, we're not just going to bring these guys back in and pretend like nothing's happened. It's hard for me to not sit up here and feel somewhat like a sacrificial lamb and, feeling like I've put myself out there and this is what happens. Again, removing myself from the situation, I see how this is better for the game of golf. There's no denying that. But for me as an individual, there's just going to have to be conversations that are had.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, he's pissed. He also said there's another one, I believe, where he says he still hates the LIV and he hopes it goes away. He turned down, reportedly it was $500 million. Unconfirmed, $500 million is what he was offered and turned down. And
what's the and what one of the LIV execs said this week? He called. He's like, nobody wants that little bitch on their team now. He's not gonna get shit.
I didn't see that.
Did you see
what
that?
happened? No.
I gotta find it. One of the PGA journalists or golf journalists, I guess it would be a better word to use. Did an interview with a anonymous LIV executive. I don't know the quote exactly. I can maybe pull it up, but he basically was like, nobody. He's like, oh, John Rahm's gonna get this guy's gonna get this, but nobody wants that little bitch or Rory on their team, so he's not gonna get shit. Pretty much,
Jeez.
It was basically what he said.